So, I did some things. I got Minecraft for the Windows 10, which isn't that cool because I already have the Java edition and I like it better. And also, I'm at 1.12, and 1.12 is not as cool as 1.14, but I still have it. So, yeah. So, after I stopped recording last time, I got really sick, and that's kind of like the end of that story. And this has been getting a lot of iron, which is pretty cool. I put the villagers in there. I don't know if I recorded putting the villagers in there, but I put 2 villagers in there and then gave them a whole bunch of bread and potatoes, and now they just had a whole bunch of kids, and so now they're all adults and they are making the things spawn. So yeah, that's what happened there. Oh, and you may notice all these flowers, and also that there are no trees, and that is because one reason why is I downloaded a mod. Jeez. I downloaded a mod that is tree capitator, so when I break a tree, the entire thing falls down, which is pretty cool. It's pretty fun. It still takes as long as it would to break the entire tree, but it's easier, I guess. Why is he mad? I didn't even look at him. Why is he almost as... Fight me. Get me. I dare you. Dude. No. No. Bro. No. Why you... Oh my god. Now I'm... Okay, I guess that's a... I made a loop here, and it goes around that area and then comes back over here. So, it's not that interesting. It's cool, I guess. Jesus. Okay, it probably wasn't a good idea doing this at night. I should probably sleep. But I've got a few things to talk about here. There's a few new things going on that that is things that I should talk about here, and also a few topics I want to talk about as if this is a podcast. I should make this a podcast, the Minecraft podcast, where we talk about everything but Minecraft. Jesus Christ. Jesus. I'm gonna... Alright, I might actually die here. I got his ender balls, though. So, it's all okay. But yeah, this is... I haven't gotten any more diamonds. I haven't actually gone mining since then, even though I've played this game for 3 days straight without sleeping more than 2 hours. Because I got sick, and when I got sick I couldn't sleep because I was sick, so whatever. I got sick, and now I'm playing this game all day every day, or I had been, because I had been done sick. And yeah, that's the entire story there. And so I did a few things. I should talk about the things that I've done in this game since you boys last saw it. If you've seen the other videos, which you probably have not. I fixed that wall, for one thing. And yeah, that's just one thing. I should show you all my wood that I got, but I'm not gonna right now because I just came upstairs. Actually, I can just cut out the transition, whatever. So I got a lot of wood. This chest, and this chest, and this chest from... and this, and this, and this... all from cutting down that forest, and then also for the spruce and jungle wood. I got those from doing other stuff. I planted some jungle trees and cut them down, and then I started filling up that chest, so then I stopped planting them. But I planted them in that field that we built, or that I built over here for wheat, that I took apart in one of the videos I made earlier. And this has been working out pretty well. And this, I don't know, I haven't used that very much. And this is where I was planting the giant trees, and I planted that entire forest of huge trees. And if you don't know, it's just by chance that a big tree spawns, so I just had to plant a whole bunch of saplings and then hope for big trees to spawn and then cut down all the little ones. But yeah, I'll show you what the tree capitator is like. It's like this. So yeah, I went through 3 diamond pickaxes, or diamond axes, because they because it takes away the health of the axe just as much as a normal tree would. So I built a wall around the village, and I also brought villagers back to the village, as you can see, and replaced all of this with potatoes, and built a few houses, as you can see, this one, and this one, and all the ones that have stone brick on them, and this one, and yeah, and then another big one over here. Yeah, so they're not very fancy or anything. I just kind of modeled them after the normal houses that they have here, other than that one and the other one over there, which are just boxes, really. And the entire thing is just like this. I mean, I like it. I lit up the inside of it too, so, but you can't really I can't get in there. I didn't, like, put a door in there or anything. And, through here, I've got a whole bunch of doors. And in here is where I put all the garbage whenever I had too much stuff while I was building this entire thing. And in here is all the doors, and there's a villager in here somewhere. And I haven't had villagers there for very long, as you can see, because I haven't really had any kids, so hoping that will change soon. But there should be a villager in here somewhere. I don't... Here he is. So he's down here so that the doors count as part of the village, so that the people above here can have a whole bunch of children and stuff. So yeah, that's what's going on over here. And I took all of the villagers from the village over there. I probably should have left like 2 so that they could have kids and like repopulate that village and maybe build a little bit of a wall around that one, but nah, I'm not about that life. So yeah, and I left the train here, the tracks there, whatever. It's not a train, but whatever. And I covered up all the holes out here in the field with dirt. Really just a whole bunch of really boring stuff because I got really bored. And what I want to do for this video, what I want to do in the video right now is build a sugarcane farm and a pumpkin and melon farm. Semi-automated for both. Not fully automated because I don't want to deal with observer blocks, but semi-automated. And I don't want to deal with hoppers because they won't catch everything. They'll probably catch less than half of it, so don't really want to deal with that. So yeah, let's we need that. We're gonna need that, and we're gonna need that, and we should probably just take that. And I'm wondering what else I might need. Oh, probably more pistons, so should probably craft some of those. Yeah. So, definitely more pistons. So I need to grab more iron because that's like part of making a piston or whatever. So, I don't know how much of that I need. I haven't checked or anything. So yeah, let's just make all of these into whatever's so that we're all Gucci here. I'm probably gonna need more than this, but I'll just make it, yeah, that's good. So we're gonna temporarily have these two things outside, out in this field over here, instead of, having them in the thing that I'm building underground, because I'm too lazy to dig more. So, I'm gonna start with the melon farm, I think, or let's start with the sugarcane farm, which it's gonna be 10 this way. So yeah, I have a few things to talk about here. Just ideas about everything, about life and stuff. So I completely forgot everything. Give me just a second. I just have a few things to say about how people perceive how attractive somebody is. I did a poll among my friends and little brother. By little brother, I mean 14-year-old brother. So he's not really that little, but he's younger than me. So, I did a poll and asked a whole bunch of people what they thought about how attractive, 4 people were. One of them was PewDiePie, of course. And one of them was Beto O'Rourke, because he ran for Senate in the state, and a bunch of people think that he's an attractive person, so just added him to the list. And and another one was Emma Chamberlain, because some people think that she's good looking and a lot of people think that she's not, which is interesting. And another one was Tessa, which I know her in real life, so, and everybody who I asked the question to also knew her in real life, so it was interesting seeing what they thought. And most of the people, actually I'm gonna put this at the same level, so that was kind of pointless, but most of the people said, I mean, everybody said different things, but I actually wrote it down here. So, my little brother, so, okay, first I'll read what I said, because, I said Tessa was 10 out of 10 for, and this is attractiveness, so Tessa's 10 out of 10, and PewDiePie was 9.5 out of 10, Beto was 8 out of 10, and Emma Chamberlain was 9 out of 10, in my opinion. So those were my answers, and Tessa thought that she was a 7, and I'll just go over here to what Tessa thought of all of this stuff. So Tessa thought that she was a 7, PewDiePie was 6.5, Beto was 6.5, and Emma Chamberlain was a 5. And 5 was a pretty popular number for the answer for Emma Chamberlain, which I thought was interesting because that's really that's a quite low number. My brother thinks that 5 is average, but 6 or 7 is average, so 6 or 7 is average, so like 6.5 would be the average, and that's pretty widely accepted as the average attractiveness of a person. So I just thought it was interesting that so many people thought that she was below average looking when Emma Chamberlain doesn't really seem below average looking. She's pretty attractive in my opinion, I think. So it just confused me how different everyone's opinion was of her specifically. My little brother said that she was the best looking one out of all of the people, which is interesting because he also said that Tessa was a, let me just find my little brother's real quick. He also said that Tessa was a 5, and he said that Emma Chamberlain was a 7.5. So, those are just really interesting numbers to me, because it's just, nobody rated her high except for my little brother, because in his opinion, that is high. My little brother also rated the one that everybody rated fairly high, fairly low, or average. And that is something that surprised me, because either his standards are different, what he finds attractive are either different, or his standards are higher than other people's, because he also rated PewDiePie at a 7 and Beto at a 3.5. So he thought that Beto was really ugly, apparently, even though a lot of people disagree with him, including me. I mean, I am not attracted to males, but I can recognize it when one is attractive, I guess. So, just thought it was interesting, the differences between people in that way. And just, another interesting thing I found was, I just need to build this a little bit more. I know that there's probably a better way, a more efficient way that I could build this, but I'm not gonna, so, but yeah, I feel like, because initially I started doing the poll because I felt like I had low standards, because when I rated all of those people at really high numbers, and Tessa rated them at really low numbers in comparison, it was just interesting. It was interesting to see that, because who I thought were attractive people were not attractive people, according to her, and apparently according to a lot of other people. So, I just thought, maybe I should get other people's opinions, because maybe she's a freak. Because, and I mean, I came to the conclusion that she is a freak, but also she has normal people's standards of attractiveness in people. She thinks that the same number of people are attractive as most people do, except she thinks that different people are than most people. So she's a freak, but also I have low standards. But then I started thinking, is that a bad thing that I have low standards for what is considered attractive? And I think I came to the conclusion that it's a good thing that is the way it is, that the way I am, because I feel like people with lower standards probably see, alright, so that works, see the world differently than people who have higher standards. And it's not that people with higher standards are bad, but it's that people with lower standards look at different things when determining if somebody is attractive or not. And the things that I look at aren't, or I guess, the things that I pay attention to. My little brother, so I asked him, because he answered so differently than everybody else, I asked him how he determines if somebody is attractive or not, whether it was by seeing if they have imperfections or seeing if there is a lack of of things that he would consider perfect on somebody. So, for example, if he sees things, if he looks for negatives, if he sees negatives and lowers somebody's rating based on whether there are negatives, or if he lowers somebody's rating when there are, or when they aren't positives, or aren't enough positives, or the positives that he expects, not necessarily something negative, but something neutral. And he said that if somebody doesn't have certain things that are considered attractive, then they get a lower score. And I feel like that is an interesting idea, because for me, if somebody has imperfections, that is what decreases a score. And I know this is shallow, but I mean, that's what the entire test was about, is really just, it's really just a shallow poll that I was taking, so, I guess it's fine, but, yeah, so, imperfections are what I feel like people with lower standards look for when they are determining somebody's rating, which, I mean, rating isn't the best thing to do, but it's something that everybody does just subconsciously in their head at some point. It's not an entirely negative thing, because it's, I just think it's fine. It's whatever. It's not a big deal if somebody rates somebody. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's whatever. And sure, if somebody, you shouldn't, compare yourself to somebody else, go like, I'm a 10, you're a 5, or whatever, and use that as anything ever, because that's just rude, but, that's just the way that people so people rate things subconsciously in their head, whether they like to or not, or whether they want to or not, so it's whatever when somebody does it. It's fine, is what I'm saying. So, but also, when rating somebody, if somebody doesn't have specific traits that I find attractive, I don't count that as a negative, because I don't know, but that leads to me thinking that almost everybody is above an 8 for some reason, because I rate people consistently. I've rated almost everybody I know as above an 8. There are only a few people that qualify as being lower than an 8, in my opinion. So I feel like that is just, I mean, I don't think that lower standards is a bad thing, because it leaves you open to, anyway, sorry, I thought there was someone at the door, but, it leaves you open to accepting more people as, because whether we like to admit it or not, everybody judges people by the way they look, by the way the person looks. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it is a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. I mean, it is a bad thing, but everybody does it. And everybody does it just without, you can't, okay, hold on, I need to think about this for a second. You can't not do that. As a human being, you can't not judge a book by its cover, even subconsciously. I mean, you can counter it. You can think, this person does not seem like the kind of person that I want to hang out with just by the way they look, but at the same time, you can also counter it by, yeah, that was dumb. That was really dumb, but you can counter thinking that by thinking to yourself, like, I'm gonna give this person a chance because I shouldn't judge a book by its cover. So people say you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, so you consciously make the decision not to judge people by the way they look. But everybody subconsciously does. Or at least almost everybody. I can't think of a reason why somebody wouldn't, unless if they were like blind, but even then you would be judging people by the way they sound, so it's just a human thing to do that. So if you think about it, like, judging people by the way they look is a human thing to do, and it's not a bad thing as long as you try to not do it consciously. But it is something that everybody does anyway. So just back to standards. All right. Sorry, I'm getting off track here like crazy because my brain is speeding. But doing things, making decisions based on the way people look turns out to be a lot less negative for the people you're judging if you have lower standards. If you already think a person is at a higher level than somebody else would think that person is at, then that person, you're gonna automatically give that person a better chance in your mind. So if you think that most people are, if you automatically judge that most people are 8 out of 10, or maybe even above that, then you are more likely to think that that person is probably somebody you want to hang out with or give a chance to. I mean, even with people with their own gender, even when they aren't homosexual, they are a straight person like myself, you still judge people based on how attractive they are subconsciously, and sometimes that's either a positive or a negative for them. It either means that you are gonna try a little bit harder to make a good impression on that person or not, depending on in what way they are attractive, I guess. So it can either be a positive or a negative thing, thinking somebody is above where other people think they are at, or below where other people think they are at. So but for me, I feel like that is a positive, that I think that they are higher than they are to other people, because that means that they, Choco, go back, get in your bed. What are you doing? Are you scared? What is it? What is it? What's wrong? Huh? What's wrong? Okay. Sorry, that was my dog. He's getting up out of his bed for some reason, and I didn't know what was up, so yeah. That's what happened there. And so back to me thinking here. Yeah, back to me thinking. I think that it's a good thing that I think more highly of the way people look, because it means that my subconscious judging of the way people are before I know them personally makes it to where I give them more of a chance to prove that they are worthy of either friendship or me pursuing any sort of relationship with that person, because I think more highly of them than I would otherwise, if that makes sense. I'm not sure if I'm explaining this well, but hopefully I am. I don't know if the redstone is gonna make it all the way. I hope it does. I don't know, but let's see here real quick. Oh, so it makes it all the way over here, but it doesn't make it all the way over here. So I didn't do something right over there. So but yeah. So people should have lower standards is what I'm saying, and that's an incel thing to say, I know, but it's not for my sake, it's just for society's sake, and it's not for, I mean, people being attractive is always a good thing. It's always a positive for everyone involved, and I appreciate it when somebody is obnoxiously attractive, like Tessa is, or can't think of anybody else right now, but yeah. And I appreciate it when that's that sort of situation, because it's, I don't know, it's just better than it not being that way. Having there be attractive people and less attractive people is a good thing, I think, but because it just adds to life, like everything else, but yeah, so I think that's a good thing, but at the same time, I feel like having lower standards is also a good thing for me, specifically for society as a whole, for everyone, really, because it ends with more people being, I don't know where I was going with that, but it's just better to think more highly of people before you meet them, is what I'm trying to say here. And I feel like I learned that lesson this year, actually, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think I learned that lesson this year, actually, or maybe last year, whatever, 10th grade, because I used to judge people super hard before I even talked to them. Like, everyone I saw, I already had I had already made up my mind whether I was going to give them the chance to be a good person or not, which is not the right thing, the right way to go about doing things. Because, hey, that's pretty good. Because you end up missing out on being friends or anything with a bunch of people. You miss out on relationships, and you make people feel bad by not liking them for absolutely no good reason. And my opinion changed by meeting a whole bunch of people last year, people who I thought were either douchebags or something else, douchebags, assholes, and dicks. I just assumed that they were without ever speaking to them, and I met a whole bunch of them this year, and turns out they're all super nice people. So I made a huge mistake judging them before I ever met them. And I regret doing that because I missed out on a lot by making that mistake. And I think it changed my opinions of really everyone, because now I don't do the same thing anymore. I don't see people in the hallway at school and think that guy is a asshole automatically before even meeting the person. So and also I don't even remember thinking about whether or not somebody was attractive. I mean, I remember thinking whether people were attractive, but I don't remember thinking that people were as attractive as I think they are now. Back then, I never thought of PewDiePie as an attractive person. I never thought of Tessa as an attractive person. Never thought of Beto as an attractive person. I just thought of them as people that exist, and that's about it. I mean, I didn't really think of Tessa at all because I didn't really know her. I had never spoken to her at that point, but, yeah, I never thought of those people as attractive people because I just judged people before I even saw them, and I didn't judge people based on, like, whether they were attractive or not, just on the like, vibe, I guess, that they give off as a person, I guess, which isn't the right way to do things, and I shouldn't have, because it's me being an asshole, me being a dick, so I should have given people the time of day just to see if they were a good person or not, and I didn't, so that's just a regret I have in my life here. And actually I'll leave that, and because I'm trying to talk here, I'm messing up a bunch of stuff. So, I need to slow down probably, just so I can think. But, yeah, I need to stop. I have already stopped prejudging people based on things I shouldn't be judging them on, because they don't deserve to be judged based on things that they can't control, like the way that they look. But at the same time, now that I don't automatically think that person is an asshole or that girl's a bitch or anything like that, I don't think about people at all before I meet them. So now my mind is, like, cleared and gone straight to that person is an attractive person automatically, because I don't prejudge people at all. And, like, I think I know the exact point where that started happening, where that happened for me, because, like, the first time I met Tessa, it was, like, halfway through the year, and I was still doing this thing that I did for the first half of the year, and it was, like, it was over Christmas break that I met her, I think, and, like, the entire thing, I was, like, the first time I met her, I was, like, yeah, she's a little bit hot, that's what I thought to myself, and that was about it. I mean, granted, it was dark, but at the same time, that opinion did not change later on. Like, later that year, later this year. I don't know what I should call it. Whatever. Later that time, later in 10th grade, I saw her again, and we hung out again a little bit for like another few hours, and I thought the same thing after that. I thought she's a little bit hot, exactly like I did before, and then I started meeting these people in art class that I assumed were douchebags or anything like that, and it turns out that they aren't. They are just, in some cases, my theory was correct that they were super dumb, but my theory was never correct in thinking that they were, I mean, it was correct once. It was correct once in thinking that they were a douchebag. But other than that, they were all pretty super nice people, so I made a mistake in judging them before ever meeting them there. And, now that I don't do that, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, but, yeah, I don't know what I'm saying at all. My brain is kind of, I'm gonna move this back just one block, but, I'm really confused right now because my brain isn't working, but, yeah, I'm just saying don't judge people before you see them, because maybe if you don't, you'll think that everybody is attractive, because it's really, I feel like everybody is attractive at some level, whether it's their personality or whatever. And eventually I saw that, because after I started meeting all the cool people in art class that I previously thought were, I think the game's broken, but that I previously thought were not worth my time, after I got down off my high horse there and actually met people, I realized that they were actually pretty cool, and I kind of looked forward to hanging out with them during art class, which was a pretty big transformation from the beginning of the year, where I just assumed that they weren't worth ever talking to or seeing or anything, and I didn't want to see them or talk to them or anything, and I avoided any contact with them because I just didn't want to deal with it, you know? So, now that I'm a different person, I see literally almost everybody as an attractive person in some way. I don't see I mean, I'm a pretty negative person, overall. I still do the thing where I'm like, this person is probably a jerk. I don't wanna speak to him or her, whatever, it doesn't matter. But at the same time, while I do that, I also think I'm probably wrong at the same time. I think I'm probably wrong, this person might actually be nice, and I shouldn't do that, which makes it to where I end up either just not avoiding that person, or end up actually talking to that person whenever a time arises when it would be appropriate for me to, or where it would be beneficial to either of us or both of us for me to talk to that person. So, that's just what I've found after not judging people that way. I now see everybody as attractive for some reason, and, or pretty much everybody. Like, my friend Thane, he was like, how would you rate me on a scale of 1 to 10? And I was like, I don't know, 6 or a 7, and he's like, what, really? I expected like a 3 or a 4, and I'm like, why? And he's like, because I'm not very good looking, and I'm like, alright. And he probably isn't to most people. I mean, I can see that he's not to most people, and I'm not trying to, like, inflate his ego or give him self-confidence that he shouldn't have because it would be false confidence. Is that, I don't know if I'm using that correctly. I don't have the time to think about it right now, but I'm not doing that to him. It's just that that's legitimately the way that I was thinking about it, because that's just the way that that's just the way that I am. I think that people are more attractive than other people think they are. So yeah, that's just and I just thought that was I just think that it's a good quality to do that, to think of people as higher than other people think of them as, if I'm making any sense here. Because it ends up with either situations like that where you end up making somebody feel better than they felt about themselves before, or you end up doing something like hang out with Tessa, and then months later, once you realize that most people are cool, thinking instead of she's pretty hot and whatever, to she's probably the hottest person I've ever seen, which I feel like when you stop judging people by the way that they look, you start judging people more on their personality instead. So while somebody may be hot physically, like Tessa, I also know her personality. I know her very well, which makes her a lot hotter. That probably had something to do with it. Also, makes her a 10, and also with what is it? PewDiePie. I think that he's probably a 9.5, which is reasonable, I think. But also, I probably wouldn't have rated him that way a year ago. Probably would have said, I don't know, 6 or 7, like most people did when they when I first asked them that question. Wrong button here, wrong spot. When I first asked them that question, everybody said, I don't know, 8 or 7 or 8, or no, 6 or 7. A few people said higher. A few people said 9 or 10 or something. Nobody said 10. Actually, a few people said 10 for everybody except for Emma Chamberlain, which was 2 people said 10 for everybody except for Emma Chamberlain. One of them said that she was, quote, and wouldn't give me a number, and a few said, and then the other one said that she was 5. So, I mean, I don't agree, but yeah, whatever. But also, I probably would have thought the same thing. I've seen like 5 of Emma Chamberlain's videos, and actually a lot of people think that she's not funny, but I feel like she is pretty funny, and her editing style is awesome. So I really like her editing style, because a lot of the other people that think they're funny on the internet, they just add the same sound effect every time that anything happens, or they just turn the thing gray and zoom in, and they don't really do any other effects. But she's got like 100 different effects and sound effects that she does for different situations, and they almost always match the situation that she's in. So she's more, because I know that she's more clever than the other people like her on the internet that think that they're funny. I end up probably thinking that she's more attractive because of that. And yeah, I just feel like thinking that people are attractive based on I guess I can't put that there then. Does it work from here? Nah, so I'm gonna need to figure out something else. Does this work? Yeah, so I can just put these underneath, I think, and it should be fine. But yeah, so I like to think of people as more attractive than they are because or than other people think they are, because I don't know, I just don't look at the negative things anymore, and now I look at the positives instead, and or I just think I don't know the person, so I won't judge them yet, which I feel like those are good ways of doing it. This is gonna put water everywhere, so maybe I can... Yay, I did it. So, yeah. So, I just feel like it's better to do that than to not do that, because I feel like my way is better than other people's way, because they just automatically think, this person is good looking, this person isn't good looking. Why is that? Darn. I should probably put in the water last. So I'm just gonna cover all that up real quick here. So yeah, I just feel like that's a better thing to do than what most people do, which is like, are they good looking, and then is this not spreading to the other ones, or what? Is that gonna work? Is that better? So, I don't know. It's kind of, I mean, that makes it sound like it's like a kink thing, being good at editing, but it's not. It's just that is a positive quality she has. That I'm just gonna put a singular water block over here. That should be. Also, I need to put this here. That should be good. If I just put water right there, and yeah, that's fine. But yeah, just thinking of people as more attractive than they are is a good thing, I think. Having low standards is a good thing, but I mean, not if your low standards are low, like, people like, you know what I mean? Like, not if it's like, I have low standards, so I'm gonna accept this bad person. I feel like it's good to have low standards, like, I know this person isn't that great looking, but, or no, not, I know this person isn't that great looking, but like, if you think, I put that too low, that's the problem here, that's what I did wrong. I was thinking, that looks weird, and it does, and the reason why is because I did it wrong. But yeah, okay, here. So, I'll put this here so that I can see it, but yeah, okay, so, people, I feel like it's a mixture of me just thinking that everybody's attractive, and also that, just automatically having, I mean, low standards as in, I think that people are attractive when other people think they aren't. That kind of low standards is a good thing, because then you end up being open to a lot more different people for literally every reason why you would want to be, if I'm making any sense at all. I'm probably not, but that's fine, because nobody's listening, but still, it's Probably gonna end up speeding this up, but yeah, whatever. It's fine. But having low standards in that way is a good thing. Having low standards in the I'll accept anything kind of way is not a good thing, but having low standards in the way of people, thinking that people are attractive when other people don't is a good thing, always. Because it opens everybody up for new opportunities. It makes other people feel better about themselves, and it makes, and it gives you more opportunities to, for friendships and any sort of relationship that you could have with a person. So, it's a good thing. It's always a good thing. I mean, like, it can put you into other situations. Like, if somebody's gonna be like a school shooter because he doesn't think that he's attractive or something, then that is a messy situation. But at the same time, I don't think that person would be friends with anybody. I don't even know what I'm saying. I just came up with a random situation that's probably not gonna happen to anybody ever. But yeah, whatever. I'm just pretty dumb right now. I don't know why I'm pretty dumb. I should be elevated. My brain should be elevated and smarter than normal, but for some reason it's not smarter than normal. It's just bad. It's just a bad brain right now for some reason. And I need to put some redstone here. So yeah, most people are good, so don't judge people by their cover. And if you want to do it my way, then you can just go and meet a whole bunch of people that you previously thought were not good, and then meet them, find out that they are good, and then possibly befriend them. And if you don't want to befriend them because you don't like them that much, then it's fine, and you can just hang out, or just not hate the person automatically, or just not dislike the person automatically, because that's a good thing. That's always a good thing. Not having hate is always a good thing. I mean, unless if it's somebody who needs to be hated. I don't really hate anybody, though. I mean, I don't know if there's people who need to be hated. Are there people who need to be hated? I don't know. Does Hitler need to be hated? That's a deep question, I think. Are you a bad person if you don't hate Hitler? That's a good question, I think. Yeah, those are good questions, I think. Because, like, people say, I don't hate anybody, or you shouldn't hate anybody, or you shouldn't hate anything. Like my grandma would always say, you shouldn't hate anything, or you shouldn't hate anybody, because I used to hate literally everything. So, I've got a few things. That's kind of aggressive there. Taking a bit to load over here. I wonder what that's all about. Well, I have a few things to do here. I want to know what to talk about also, though. I need to find a philosophical issue to talk about. But what I'm gonna do on here is I'm gonna go into the Nether and find some garbage, and it's gonna be interesting. So we're gonna go into the Nether. There's a Nether fortress right next to the entrance to the Nether, so I'm just gonna go in there and it's gonna be chill. And I need to think of something to talk about while I do this, because it's not interesting when I'm speeding and I'm not talking about something weird. What's happening? What? How and what?
Alright, we need to let this stop lagging for a second. Alright, there. Should be chill now? Yeah? Alright, so, I'm going to attempt to go down there and grab all of that garb. Hey! And, need to think about something to talk about. So it's looking like I lost my shovel here, which is a little bit upsetting. And also, I need to turn down the music. Or, right, I'm gonna go put some stuff away. So this is my first time in the Nether since I started playing Minecraft again, and that was further away than I thought it was. So that's a little bit upsetting. Okay, that's actually really far away. I didn't realize. I'm so sorry. Yikes. And I can just kill this guy here, can I? Yeah. Did he just despawn? That's upsetting slightly, upsetting. Yeah, very slightly upsetting. That was, I'm about to die. Yeah, I just died again. That, was in a word, BS. Yes, so, quite bothered by that, I am. Because, that should not have happened. That lava actually came from nowhere, or at least the lava that hit me came from nowhere, so, that is upsetting. I need to stop dying, because if I keep dying, I'm actually going to lose something important, and that would be very bothersome to me. Losing things that are important is bothersome. So, yeah, let's I'm gonna think of something to talk about, maybe, what should I talk about here? Let's think. Let's think about this for a second here. What should I talk about? Probably should have brought torches, but I didn't, so, that's me being dumb. Speedy hasn't taken in yet, so, oh wow, that is quite scary. That was not a good shot at all. Okay, I'm not going to be able to light that up, so I should just block it off for now, because I can't light it up. And I don't want to die, so just used to have to deal with it. Jeez, dude. Didn't know they could see me from this distance. I need to get magma cream, though, so I'm going to kill this boy over here, because it's required of me. Jeez. Oh my god, I need to... what should I talk about? I'm trying to think of something to talk about. I can't talk because I am dumb. There is... Nope, not a good topic. There is... I need to get fire resistance potions out here. I just screwed up that shot so badly. I didn't sleep at all last night. I actually stayed up all night because speed and still speeding. Or not still speeding, but took a break from speeding. Got really tired because oh my god, I hate this. This game is difficult. Here we go. 1. Now I don't have to deal with those thieves anymore. I want to find an area where there are chests and nether warts. So, I'm kind of just ignoring the blazes now, because I don't really care to get more blaze rods. I have plenty, I have 3, but I will definitely need more in the future, but I don't need any more right now. So, it's all good, it's all Gucci. Alright, you just despawn, that's fine. I didn't need that guy, so it's fine, it's cool, it's all good. Hey, we found an area that we can use. Nice, nice, nice. I can get that later, right? I'm just gonna get this for now. Yeah, I can just get the rest of the stuff later. It's not a big deal, I don't need to get soul sand now. Get that tomorrow, or the next day, or anytime later, but not now. I should probably be eating enough to stay alive. Why does that sound so close? This is just a dead end, and this is a dead end, that's a dead end. That's where I came from. This I haven't checked yet. I don't know where that blaze is coming from, probably outside the walls here, or above me or something, I don't know, but dead end also, so all this was just garbage. No reason to be here. Okay, so I need to just block this area off, because everywhere down here is a dead end. Actually, because the entire thing is a dead end, I'm just gonna block it off over here. Yeah, I'm gonna block it off over here, because it's a dead end from this point onward. And I've been there. No, I have not. I'll try this out. I need to talk about something. It's the only way that I can, continue not being a weird guy right now. I had to cut out most of the last one because, it got really deep. And I'm not into that. So, Jesus. I'm actually gonna die here now. Wow, the nether is more dangerous than I remember. Or maybe I'm just worse at the game. Maybe I just suck. That's probably it. I haven't played the game in forever. So it makes sense that I am no longer at all skilled in this game. So, yeah, that's probably what's happening here. Is this a... Did I come out here? I just got turned around somehow. Even though it's not even that confusing out here. I don't think I've gone this way, so I'll try this way. Maybe I have. Yeah, I have, but that's fine. Hey, found a slightly new kind of looking thing here. It's time like these that I wish that I didn't take a 6-month break from video games. Because now I suck at them. Why is that? Can I get critical hits on this? Jeez, dude. I'm not gonna kill that guy. I can't. Okay, yes I can. Alright, I killed him. He's dead. He's gone. I don't need that. I don't need that ammo right now. Already been down here is what I meant to say there. Already been down here. Have I been up there? What is happening? Okay, I'm just really bad at building, mining, whatever I'm doing here. If this side is like fully explored, I might have to... Hey, okay, it's not. Alright, so... just... Where's that coming from? I'm gonna go this way. There's already a chest over here, so it's good. Alright. This wasn't... It's not great. I'll take it. I'll throw it away later. I mean, you can, like, melt that down now to get, like, not in its, other stuff now, right? So, it's not a complete bad idea to keep it, I don't think. Can these guys stop terrifying me with their, bloody nose over here? That's where it's coming from. But who cares about your bow? We're in the nether. There's much scarier things. Oh my god. It's kind of just like a... That's kind of like a... Just a useless thing is having a bow in the nether. Or as having a skeleton in the nether, because a skeleton can't do anything here. In comparison to every other monster. Every other monster that's here. Hey, that's pretty good. Jesus, I'm gonna have a little mini heart attack over here. I hate all this noise. I'm gonna turn down the volume a little bit. Because it's very loud. I need to think of something to talk about. What? Okay, I'm gonna throw that. And yeah, that's just gonna be it. I don't because I don't want that thing. But I want to break the chest because I don't want to be tricked later. I think it's right there. I think it's right here behind that corner. Oh, it's right here behind this corner. Alright. So, yeah, that's, very, very good. I'll just leave that there for now. I'll leave it in my better inventory slot. Or my higher one. I don't know. Who cares? I'm not a Minecrafter out here. Everything over there is mined out now. Okay, I guess this entire downstairs area is gone now. I wish this was a bigger fortress because that would be more fun. I'm gonna lay down this way because I'm pretty sure I've been there. Yeah, I've been here. But I blocked it off, so it's chill. It's chill. Hey, buddy. 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 Alright, I'm gonna go up in the front here. Okay. What? To what do I owe the pleasure of actually being hit? I'm trying to... This is a epic fight here. I killed the guy, he's dead. Alright, I'm proud of that. Of that thing that I did there. Because that was a good, death. I wish I hit the ball into him because I'm pretty sure that's an achievement, but you know. I think I've finished this side of the place. So I think I'm done with this thing. I'm gonna go to the other side of the, portal from here. Yeah. Just, okay, I guess I can't eat right now, but, here we go. He's dead now. Loser. And there's nothing over here. Alright. So I guess is there more over there? Is there more on this side? Because I do want to find more, stuff. I don't want to go home empty-handed yet. Oh, hey. Oh, I guess I can't reach that man. That blaze, whatever it's called. It's not a man, it's a blaze. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's a blaze. It needs to, okay, I guess, just despawns, that is, okay, I am kind of dying over here? Okay, that's not nice, that is not nice. Why is it gunpowder? Do creepers spawn on the ladder? I don't know, I didn't know they did, so, oh, do the blazes drop this? Okay, I guess I can't reach that far. I wish this bow had more reach, because then I could, yikes. Okay, that one just despawned. Dead. Both dead. Both gone. Now I'm gonna try it. Looks like I can't get there from here. Right, yeah, I'm gonna, okay. I'm gonna go down there. Yes, there we go. Much better. Oh, I've already been here. Disappointing. Yeah, I need to think of something to talk about. I am running out of words. Alright, dudes. Okay. Looks like this thing's empty. I think we've taken everything it has, so.
So as you can see, it looks like the same as the end of the last video, and that's because I turned off my computer right after that, so there is no progress. Or little to no progress. It's literally just a super dense forest with a train running around the middle, and then jungle trees in the middle. But that's actually what I'm going to be working on today. I'm going to go to the jungle and get a lot more jungle saplings to plant more jungle trees in the middle here. And then after that, I will be getting, that's about it. I'm just going to be getting a whole bunch of jungle trees and then plant them in this area inside of the train track here.